Area forecast discussion. Jacksonville flying conditions today across the Jacksonville region remain mostly favorable, with only minor interruptions. A weak coastal trough is bringing a few early morning light showers on shore, particularly near the immediate northeast Florida coast, but these are isolated and brief. As high pressure moves slowly southward, dry air and sinking motion aloft will gradually reduce shower activity through the day. Easterly winds are expected to strengthen slightly by mid-morning, with speeds around 10 knots at all airports. The Atlantic sea breeze will push well inland during the afternoon, triggering a few showers along its boundary, but the bulk of thunderstorm activity will stay west of Interstate 75 later today. Pilots should expect typical seasonal temperatures with light overnight winds inland and mild coastal breezes continuing. Visibility and ceilings will mostly remain in the unrestricted category, although brief periods of reduced ceilings near the Georgia border around sunrise may require some awareness. Overall, flight conditions will be visual and largely stable across the area. Area forecast discussion. Miami today's flying weather across South Florida is influenced by a weak frontal boundary sliding through the area, accompanied by modest moisture and a subtle disturbance aloft. This setup is bringing brief isolated showers this morning, especially near the East Coast airports, before activity shifts westward toward the Gulf Coast in the afternoon. Pilots operating near Naples later today may encounter isolated thunderstorms, especially after 2 in the afternoon, driven by boundary collisions like the Gulf breeze. Instability is present but not robust, meaning updrafts may struggle to fully develop due to lingering dry air in the lower atmosphere. This makes convection hit or miss, and while some downpours are possible, most rainfall will remain light and short-lived. Winds are a key factor today, strengthening from the east and northeast as high pressure builds behind the front. Expect sustained winds around 10 to 15 knots with gusts up to 25 knots, especially along the Atlantic side. This will keep East Coast temperatures cooler, while inland and West Coast airports warm into the upper 80s. Behind the front, dry air settles in, suppressing convection with strong upper-level stability. Most flight conditions will remain visual, though pilots should stay alert for changing ceilings and occasional reduced visibility under brief cells. Area forecast discussion. Melbourne, East Central Florida, is experiencing a typical springtime pattern today, with scattered showers pushing inland from the Atlantic early this morning, mainly driven by persistent easterly winds and the East Coast sea breeze. Most activity will stay light and fast-moving, but there's a small chance for an isolated storm or two through the early afternoon. If any thunderstorms do form, they may briefly reduce visibility and bring gusty winds or a lightning strike, but overall, thunderstorm coverage is expected to be very limited. For aviators, morning operations may encounter temporary lower ceilings and visibility near coastal terminals like Titusville, but conditions are expected to improve by mid-morning as drier air arrives from the northeast. Winds will pick up through the afternoon, reaching up to 15 knots with occasional gusts just above 20, particularly near the coast where the sea breeze strengthens. Skies will gradually clear overnight, with calm flying weather expected and only patchy mid-level cloud layers. Temperatures will hold near seasonal norms, with comfortable flying conditions overall. Area forecast discussion. Tampa today's flying weather around Tampa Bay is mostly cooperative, but afternoon convective activity will be something to watch. A weak frontal boundary is dissipating just south of the region, leaving behind lingering moisture in the atmosphere that will support scattered showers and possibly a few thunderstorms, especially south of the Interstate 4 corridor. These will mainly develop later in the day and push from east to west, so pilots flying inland in the early afternoon and then toward the Gulf Coast airports like Sarasota or Fort Myers later on should monitor radar for any isolated convection. Storms are not expected to be widespread or severe, but any that do form may temporarily reduce visibility or cause brief turbulence and gusty winds. Overall, conditions remain visual for most of the day, with just brief potential for marginal flying conditions late this afternoon. Winds will be predominantly easterly, but Tampa area terminals may experience a localized shift due to sea breeze development in the afternoon.